There are words so powerful, laws so exact, that when a man hears them and obeys them, his fortune can change faster than the rising of the sun. Not in years, not in decades, but overnight. You may think that impossible. You may laugh and whisper, no one becomes a millionaire in a single night. But history proves otherwise. Fortunes have appeared as sudden as lightning. Doors once closed have swung open in an instant. One thought, one decision, one command spoken with definitesse, and a life of poverty was crossed over into a life of abundance. But here is the danger. If I told you the secret in one sentence, you would dismiss it. You would say, too simple, too obvious. It cannot be so. That is why men hear it all their lives and never awaken. They drift past it, blind to its force. So I will not hand it to you at once. I will walk you toward it slowly until your own mind cannot deny what it sees. And when you recognize it, you will understand why some men seem chosen, while others labor for decades and die with nothing. Imagine waking tomorrow with a mind so alive, so burning with definitesse that opportunities rush to you instead of fleeing. Imagine conversations turning in your favor, allies appearing, ideas rising in your sleep, and money flowing to your hand because the law has been set in motion. That is what happens when the secret is obeyed. Now imagine the opposite. Hearing these words but drifting, treating them as inspiration only, and returning tomorrow to the same wages, the same worries, the same wasted years. That is the price of ignoring the law. That is why 98 men out of every 100 remain poor while 2 live as masters. This speech is your dividing line. Before it drift, after it destiny. Listen carefully as though your future depends on it, for it does. Men wander through life blind to the law that governs riches. They imagine fortune is the fruit of luck, of chance, of birth, of favor. Yet wealth does not answer to accident. It answers to law as precise as gravity. You may deny it, you may ignore it, but it still governs. Those who obey it rise overnight. Those who drift remain slaves to wages. Fortunes appear not gradually alone, but suddenly. Men toil for years, then in one moment their labor crystallizes into opportunity. The crowd calls it luck, but it is law. The years of desire, of faith, of persistence prepare the soil. Then one decision, one alliance, one act brings harvest in an instant. Fortune appears overnight, though the seed was long planted. Edwin C. Barnes proved this law. He arrived penniless, uneducated, unknown, but definite. He desired to become Edison's partner. The world laughed. He persisted as a laborer in Edison's shop, but he did not drift. One day, opportunity came, disguised in a dictating machine no one could sell. Barnes seized it, and in a single bold move, his fortune appeared. The law revealed itself again through Charles Schwab. One evening at a dinner, he gave a speech on bold expansion of the steel industry. Carnegie listened. That one decisive speech birthed the United States Steel Corporation, the first billion-dollar business. Schwab's fortune appeared overnight, but it was not accident. It was law obeyed. Definitesse expressed in action. The law hides in plain sight because it is simple. Men dismiss it as too obvious. They believe success must be complex, mysterious, reserved for a chosen few, yet the truth is direct. Fortune follows definitesse of purpose allied with faith, imagination, and persistence. The law does not fail. Men fail to see, fail to believe, fail to act. The drifting man never discovers it. His mind is vague, his desires weak, his decisions postponed. Opportunity passes before his eyes, but he does not recognize it. He is blind because his mind is asleep. The law cannot serve him, for it answers only to definitesse. Drifting is blindness. Definitesse is sight. Only those awake can seize riches. One thought, one act, one decision aligned with desire and faith is enough to change destiny. Barnes did not wait for money, education, or approval. He decided, desired, believed, and acted. Schwab did not wait for permission. He spoke. Rockefeller did not wait for others to approve pipelines. He imagined and built them. Each fortune began with one thought, obeying the law. You may ask, can fortune truly appear overnight? Look at history. Fortunes have risen in an instant, a new invention accepted, a contract signed, an alliance formed. But beneath the instant lies years of thought, faith, and desire. The explosion is sudden, but the preparation was silent. The law waits patiently, then delivers swiftly to the one who obeys. The law is impartial. It favors no man by birth, no nation, no class. It answers only to thought mixed with belief and acted upon with persistence. The poor boy in a log cabin, the immigrant without coin, the uneducated dreamer, all have obeyed it and risen. Lincoln, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Rockefeller all began obscure. They rose by law, not by chance. Most men live and die blind to this truth. They drift in routine, labor for wages, hope for luck, complain of fate. They never write a definite aim, never affirm faith, never act boldly. Their lives remain small, not because law failed, but because they failed to obey it. The devil owns them through indecision, excuse, and fear. But you, if you choose, may be different. You may awaken to the law, see it in plain sight, and obey it. You may decide tonight to write your definite chief aim, to declare your desire to believe until doubt flees, to act decisively. If you do, opportunity will rush to you. Fortune will answer as swiftly as sunrise. Affirm with me, I am awake. I obey the law. I am ready for my opportunity tonight. Speak it with conviction. Repeat it until belief engraves itself upon your subconscious. Let the words burn into your thought until they shape your action. For the law answers to definiteness of mind. And definiteness begins with affirmations of belief. The law is not hidden from you. It is before your eyes. In every story of success. In every fortune created. In every man who rose from obscurity to power. It is ignored by the drifting, dismissed by the doubting, but embraced by the faithful. And when embraced, it delivers without delay. It may appear sudden, but it is certain. Therefore, I tell you, fortune is not distant. It is not years away. It waits now, ready to appear in an instant. The condition is this, that you desire intensely, that you believe without doubt, that you decide firmly, that you act persistently. Do this and fortune will be yours. The law is exact. It cannot fail. All riches, all greatness, all freedom begin with desire. Not idle wishing, not half-hearted wanting, but burning desire that consumes the mind until no other thought survives. Weak wishes bring nothing. They drift like smoke in the wind. Burning desire commands the universe, calls forth opportunity, awakens imagination, and drives action. Desire is the starting point of every fortune. The man who says, I should like to be rich, remains poor. His words carry no heat. His thought has no fire. He waits for luck, envies the successful, and drifts until death. But the man who says, I will become rich, and means it with every fiber of his being, sets in motion unseen forces. Desire becomes magnet. Riches obey. Edison desired light for the world. He endured thousands of failures, yet his desire never dimmed. Each night he imagined victory. His desire never dimmed. Each night he imagined victory. Each day he returned to his laboratory. His desire was not a wish, it was an obsession. That obsession birthed the electric light, and his name burned brighter than the lamps he created. Desire kept him alive when failure mocked him. Henry Ford desired that every man own a car. Critics laughed. Experts mocked. Financiers doubted. But Ford's desire was not weak. It was a vision burning within. He repeated it daily, believed it wholly, and worked at it tirelessly. Desire carried him through obstacles until his assembly lines rolled forth cars by the millions. His desire made him master of an industry. Andrew Carnegie desired freedom from poverty. Born in a humble Scottish cottage, he saw his family suffer want. That vision burned within him, not as despair, but as desire. He worked tirelessly, studied, allied with men of power. His burning desire for freedom drove him to build the steel empire. Desire transformed a poor boy into one of history's richest men. Weak desire delays fortune for decades. Men say, I should like riches someday. Someday never comes. They drift, labor for wages, excuse themselves, and perish. Burning desire creates fortune swiftly. It does not wait for decades. It acts, insists, persists, and seizes. The difference between waiting a lifetime and changing overnight is the intensity of desire. Desire must be definite. I want more money is vague and powerless. I will earn $50,000 by January 1st by rendering this service as definite and powerful. The subconscious obeys definite commands, not vague wishes. The law of riches answers to clarity. Write your desire in exact terms. Name the sum, the date, the service you will give. Exercise. Write tonight a definite sum of money you will possess, the date by which you will have it, and the service you will render. Read it aloud morning and night with faith and emotion. Picture it vividly. Speak it until you believe it. This is no idle ritual. It is planting seed in the subconscious which will compel action and attract opportunity. Barnes desired partnership with Edison. He did not say, I would like to work for Edison. He said, I will become Edison's partner. His desire was definite. He wrote it upon his mind. He declared it to Edison himself. That desire guided his actions until it became reality. Had his desire been vague, he would have perished unknown among laborers. Desire gives courage. Men without desire retreat at first obstacle. Men with desire pressed forward through ridicule, delay, and defeat. Edison's assistants begged him to quit after hundreds of failures. He persisted because desire burned. Ford's critics mocked his ignorance. He continued because desire urged him. Carnegie faced scorn as immigrant. He endured because desire commanded. Affirm. What I desire, I demand. What I demand, I create. I persist until my desire becomes fact. Speak it with conviction. Repeat until your heart believes it. Each word engraves desire deeper upon the subconscious. Desire, once accepted by the subconscious, compels action, directs thought, and attracts opportunity. Soon fortune obeys as servant to your burning aim. Desire must be fed by imagination. Picture your fortune as though already yours. Feel the possession. See the bank account, the home, the freedom. Speak of it as certain. Desire without imagination fades. Desire with vivid imagination grows. The subconscious cannot distinguish between thought vividly imagined and fact. It obeys the picture and life conforms. Desire must be strengthened by faith. Doubt is poison. Desire mixed with doubt perishes. Desire mixed with faith becomes invincible. How do you build faith? By repetition of affirmations. By daily visualization. By acting as though victory is certain. Each repetition drives belief deeper. Faith grows by practice. Soon desire and faith together create miracle. Desire must be supported by persistence. The devil whispers, you have failed. Quit. Desire answers, I will continue. Each day you act upon desire, persistence strengthens. Each delay endured proves sincerity. The world yields not to weak desires, but to burning desire backed by persistence. Desire alone ignites the fire. Persistence keeps it burning until fortune arrives. The drifting man envies the rich, but never desires with intensity. He speaks vaguely, acts weakly, quits quickly. He dies as he lived, small, forgotten. The man of desire is different. His eyes burn. His words command. His actions persist. He knows what he wants, declares it, believes it, and acts daily. Desire lifts him above the crowd. Affirm again. What I desire, I demand. What I demand, I create. I persist until my desire becomes fact. These words are not idle. They are law when believed. Speak them morning and night. Write them, live them. Desire will grow into faith, faith into action, action into fortune. The law obeys the burning desire of a definite mind. Therefore, I charge you, cease wishing, begin desiring. Write your aim, name the sum, fix the date, describe the service, read it daily, speak it boldly, imagine it vividly, believe it wholly, persist until it manifests. This is the starting point of all riches. Without it, nothing begins. With it, everything is possible, even fortune overnight. Desire is the seed, but faith is the soil in which it grows. Without faith, desire is a wish that withers. With faith, desire takes root and compels action until life itself bends. Faith is the medium of miracles. It transforms invisible thought into visible riches. It is the unseen force that removes fear, clears doubt, and commands the universe to obey. Faith is not accident. It is cultivated. Men say, I will believe when I see. That is drifting. The man of faith says, I believe and therefore I will see. The crowd demands evidence before they act. The master acts with belief before evidence appears. That is why the crowd remains bound, while the few create fortunes seemingly overnight. Henry Ford believed in his vision when the world mocked him. Engineers declared mass production impossible. Critics called him ignorant. Financiers withheld support. Yet Ford's faith was unshaken. He pictured cars in every home, believed in his power to create them, and acted. His faith transformed ridicule into empire. Without faith, his desire would have died in doubt. Abraham Lincoln held faith in the Union when the nation tore itself apart. Critics called him a fool. Enemies sought his destruction. Even allies doubted. Yet his faith in the cause sustained him. Through defeat, bloodshed, and despair, he stood firm. Defeat, bloodshed, and despair, he stood firm. Faith preserved his courage when fear threatened to paralyze. His faith became the anchor of a nation's survival. John D. Rockefeller believed in oil pipelines when others saw only wagons and barrels. He saw order where others saw chaos. He believed in efficiency, in expansion, in organization. Men mocked, courts opposed, rivals resisted. Yet Rockefeller's faith was unshaken. He acted, built, persisted. His faith created the greatest oil empire the world had seen. Faith must be planted in the subconscious. The conscious mind doubts, fears, hesitates. The subconscious obeys without question whatever is repeated with emotion. Speak affirmations daily. Picture your aim as accomplished. Feel the possession. Repeat until belief replaces doubt. The subconscious will accept it, act upon it, and direct ideas, courage, and allies to your service. Affirm, I believe in my purpose. I believe in my destiny. I believe until life yields. Speak with conviction. Whisper it when fear rises. Shout it when doubt tempts. Write it. Read it morning and night. Each repetition engraves faith deeper. Faith once rooted in the subconscious commands life as master. Faith and fear cannot dwell together. Where one lives, the other dies. If you allow fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, old age, loss of love, or death to rule, faith flees. But if you cultivate faith daily, fear withers. You cannot serve both. You must choose. The devil feeds fear. Infinite intelligence answers faith. The drifter says, I will wait until I am ready. That is fear disguised as prudence. The master says, I believe, therefore I act. That is faith. The crowd postpones until opportunity vanishes. The faithful man seizes opportunity and makes it succeed. Faith does not wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. Exercise. Each morning, repeat aloud your definite chief aim as though already fulfilled. Speak with emotion, not monotone. Picture it vividly. Close eyes and feel it done. Do this nightly before sleep. The subconscious, awake when you rest, will work upon it, bringing ideas, courage, and opportunities. This practice feeds faith until it becomes certainty. Edison believed light could be created, though thousands of failures mocked him. Assistants doubted, financiers withdrew, the world laughed. Yet Edison's faith held him steady. Each failure he called progress. His faith turned defeat into discovery, ridicule into triumph. Faith was the difference between quitting and creating light for the world. Faith is contagious. It inspires allies. Men are drawn to the man who believes. Schwab's faith in steel expansion inspired Carnegie. Ford's faith in cars inspired workers. Lincoln's faith in union inspired armies. Your faith will inspire friends, investors, partners. Doubt repels. Fear isolates, excuses alienate. Faith attracts, unites, multiplies. Affirm again. I believe in my power. I believe in my aim. I believe until life yields. Speak it now. Speak it daily. Let no day pass without affirming belief. For every repetition starves fear and feeds faith. Soon your very presence will radiate conviction. Men will feel it. Opportunities will respond to it. Riches will answer to it. Faith brings sudden transformation. Desire prepares. Persistence builds. Imagination conceives. But faith is the spark that ignites all at once. It is why fortunes appear overnight. One day nothing, the next day everything. What changed? Faith crossed threshold from hope to certainty. The subconscious acted as though it were fact, and the world obeyed. Therefore, I charge you, cultivate faith. Do not wait for proof. Act as though your desire is already yours. Repeat affirmations until you believe. Picture vividly until you feel. Live boldly until results appear. Faith is the medium of miracles, the bridge from thought to riches, the power that makes the invisible visible. Without it, nothing. With it all, desire is the seed, faith is the soil. But decision is the act of planting. Until you decide, nothing begins. Until you say, I will. Your desire is dream only. The moment of decision is the crossing point from drifting to destiny. Riches do not come slowly alone. They come suddenly at the instant of firm, irrevocable decision. Indecision is the devil's playground. It whispers, wait, delay. Consider again. Conditions are not right, and the drifting soul obeys, postponing until the opportunity passes. The undecided man is slave, obeying every fear, every opinion. But the decisive man is master. He speaks, he acts, and life yields. Decision is the line between servant and master. Charles Schwab proved this at a dinner with Carnegie. He spoke boldly of expansion, of daring, of steel that could dominate the world. Others hesitated, calculating risks, fearing critics. Schwab decided. His words rang with definiteness. That one speech birthed United States Steel, the first billion-dollar corporation. Billions created overnight because one man decided firmly. Edwin C. Barnes decided not to work for Edison, but to become his partner. He did not drift into employment. He declared definiteness of aim. That decision guided every act. Though poor and unknown, his decision set law in motion. Years later, opportunity appeared, and Barnes seized it because his decision had been made long before. Indecision is slavery because it leaves a man open to influence. He asks 100 opinions, fears criticism, waits for permission. He is swayed by family, neighbors, and strangers. He changes direction with every breeze. He accomplishes nothing because he never decides. His life is spent in hesitation, and the devil owns him. Decision is liberty because it closes doors to doubt. The man who decides quickly and firmly commands respect even from critics. His allies trust him. His enemies fear him. Opportunities reveal themselves to him. For life responds to definiteness. He may err, but he corrects swiftly. Better a wrong decision corrected than no decision at all. Look to Lincoln. In war's darkest hours, advisors urged compromise. Critics demanded retreat. The nation despaired. Lincoln decided firmly to preserve the Union. His decision held steady through blood and chaos. Indecision would have destroyed the Republic. Decision preserved it. The world remembers not his hesitation, but his definiteness of purpose. The world remembers not his hesitation, but his definiteness of purpose. Look to Rockefeller. Courts attacked, rivals resisted, critics denounced. He decided firmly to systematize oil, to build pipelines, to expand. He did not tremble at lawsuits or mockery. He decided and persisted. His decisiveness turned a struggling trade into a world empire. Fortune answered his decision because decision commands riches. The crowd always delays. They say, I will begin when conditions are right, but conditions never are. The master says, I begin now. He knows the law. Decision creates conditions. Action stirs opportunities, attracts allies, and uncovers resources. Delay is drifting. Decision is creation. One decides, the other drifts. One commands, the other obeys. Exercise. Tonight, write a decision regarding your chief aim. Not tomorrow, not someday, tonight. Write. I have decided to earn some by date through service. I will not retreat. I will not delay. Read it aloud. Sign it. This is not idle writing. It is declaration of war against drifting. That decision will guide every act henceforth. Affirm, I decide boldly. I decide swiftly. My decision commands destiny. Speak it until you feel it. Each time you hesitate, repeat it. Each time you doubt, declare it. The subconscious will absorb it, and hesitation will flee. Life itself will yield. For decision aligns thought, faith, and action. Decision is the spark that ignites fortune. Consider Edison. He decided to create light, not merely to experiment. That decision carried him through thousands of failures. Without decision, he would have drifted aimlessly from one experiment to another. With decision, every attempt moved toward a definite end. His fortune and fame were fruits of decision, not accident. The devil confessed that indecision is his greatest weapon. Once a man delays, hypnotic rhythm chains him. Each postponed choice strengthens habit until he drifts a lifetime. 98 out of 100 men perish in indecision. But the 2% who decide firmly escape. They seize opportunity, create riches, and live as masters. Decision is not recklessness. It is firmness after thought. But once made, it is final. The indecisive man changes his mind with every opinion. The decisive man holds steady unless new facts demand correction. This steadiness attracts respect and multiplies power. Men follow the one who decides. No one follows the one who hesitates. Affirm again. I decide boldly. I decide swiftly. My decision commands destiny. These are not empty words. They are the difference between drifting and destiny. Speak them nightly until your subconscious accepts them. Act upon them daily until your life proves them. Fortune follows decision. Without it, desire and faith perish. With it, riches appear suddenly. Therefore, I charge you, cease drifting, cease waiting, cease postponing. Decide tonight your chief aim. Decide firmly never to retreat. Act tomorrow upon that decision. Persist until victory. Fortune will appear as though overnight. For the law obeys decision. The undecided perish in hesitation. The decided command destiny. Choose, decide, conquer. Desire begins the journey. Faith sustains it. Decision sets it in motion. But persistence carries it to completion. Without persistence, all else fails. The devil defeats men not by crushing blows, but by wearing them down until they quit. He whispers, "It is useless. It cannot be done." The drifter obeys. The master persists. Persistence is the hammer that forces life to yield. Most men quit at the first defeat. They attempt, fail, and surrender. They excuse themselves. It was not meant to be. They return to wages, to drifting, to mediocrity. The devil delights, for he has claimed another servant. Yet those who persist through failure discover that each defeat carries within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. Persistence uncovers that seed. Are you Darby offers proof? He and his uncle dug for gold, struck ore, and dreamed of riches. Then the vein vanished. They quit, sold machinery cheaply, and left defeated. The junk dealer who bought the equipment drilled 3 feet deeper and struck millions. The Darbys lacked persistence. The junk dealer possessed it. The difference between ruin and fortune was persistence. Darby learned. He later entered insurance and faced countless rejections, but he persisted, remembering the lesson of 3 F'd from gold. That persistence brought him success beyond measure. Temporary defeat is not failure. It is the test. The devil asks, will you quit? The persistent answer, never, and the law yields to persistence as surely as steel bends to the hammer. Edison failed thousands of times in pursuit of light. Assistants grew weary. Critics mocked, financiers withdrew. Yet Edison persisted. Each failure he counted as progress. Each setback he declared a step forward. His persistence turned ridicule into triumph. The world remembers his invention, not his failures. Persistence made his name immortal. Henry Ford endured lawsuits, fires, betrayals, and financial collapse. Each might have destroyed him had he quit, but he rebuilt, persisted, pressed forward. His persistence turned obstacles into stepping stones. He refused to surrender, and fortune obeyed him. The crowd saw only overnight success. They did not see the years of persistence that forced life to yield. Persistence is habit. It is not gift of birth. It is forged by repeated acts. Each time you continue when weary, you strengthen persistence. Each time you press forward when mocked, you temper your will. Each time you rise from defeat, you harden character. Persistence is formed like muscle through exercise, through use, through resistance. Affirm, I will persist until I succeed. Delay cannot defeat me. I conquer by endurance. Speak these words daily. Each time you doubt, repeat them. Each time you fall, declare them. Your subconscious will obey, and quitting will no longer tempt you. Persistence will become natural. The devil flees from the man who refuses to quit. The drifter has no persistence. He begins persistence. He begins many things but completes none. He grows weary quickly, discouraged easily, defeated permanently. He blames fate, luck, and others. His lack of persistence condemns him to slavery. The devil owns him, for he obeys every whisper of doubt. His life is one long retreat, one endless surrender. The master persists until victory. He knows every defeat is temporary. He knows every setback conceals a lesson. He knows each blow is test of strength. He endures, presses forward, continues. His persistence wears down obstacles, silences critics, conquers resistance. The devil cannot defeat him, for he will not quit. Persistence makes him invincible. Exercise. Choose your definite chief aim for 30 days. Act daily toward it without fail. Record each act. Refuse to miss a day. At month's end, persistence will be habit. Momentum will carry you. Rhythm will aid you. Opportunity will appear. This practice builds persistence as surely as lifting weights builds muscle. Rockefeller persisted through endless attacks. Newspapers vilified him. Courts challenged him. Rivals fought him. Yet he endured, persisted, and expanded. His persistence turned opposition into empire. Carnegie faced betrayal, strikes, and scorn. He persisted, and steel crowned him king. Lincoln endured defeat after defeat in elections. He persisted, and the presidency yielded. Affirm again. I persist until I succeed. Delay cannot defeat me. I conquer by endurance. I am relentless. I cannot be owned, for I will not quit. Speak these words with emotion. Write them, live them. Each repetition strengthens your will. Each act proves them true. Persistence is forged in repetition of thought and action until quitting is impossible. The devil confessed. Once a man decides, I tempt him to quit. If he persists, I lose him forever.
Do you see?
Persistence is the devil's defeat. He can whisper excuses, feed fear, multiply obstacles. But if you persist, he cannot win. He owns 98% of men because they quit. He loses the 2% because they persist. Therefore, I charge you, persist. Refuse to quit. Continue when weary. Act when defeated. Believe when mocked. Endure when delayed. Hold fast when tempted to surrender. Each act of persistence weakens the devil. Each day continued strengthens your mastery. Persistence is the hammer. With it, you will break stones, carve rivers, and bend fortune to your will. Imagination is the workshop of the mind. It is here that desire takes shape, faith gains form, decision becomes plan, and persistence finds direction. Without imagination, riches cannot be created. For every palace of stone was first a picture in mind. Every empire of industry was first an idea. Every fortune that seemed to appear overnight was born first in imagination. Imagination is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. A man without imagination is slave to what already exists. He sees only wages, debts, and limits. He believes only what eyes can behold. He drifts repeating yesterday until death. But the man who imagines boldly sees what could be, not what is. He creates tomorrow today. Imagination makes him master. There are two forms of imagination. Synthetic imagination rearranges old ideas into new combinations. It is useful, powerful, necessary. Creative imagination, rarer, is the faculty by which the mind receives flashes, hunches, and inspiration from infinite intelligence. Both must be cultivated. The wealthy use both constantly. The poor neglect both and remain enslaved. Rockefeller imagined oil pipelines when others carried oil in wagons. Men mocked the cost, doubted the value, ridiculed the vision. But Rockefeller pictured a system, believed in efficiency, persisted, and acted. His imagination created an empire that ruled energy for decades. Without imagination, he would have remained one among thousands of refiners. With it, he became master. Carnegie imagined vertical integration of steel, mines, mills, railroads, ships, all united under one command. Others laughed at the impossibility. He pictured it clearly, believed it, certainly acted upon it persistently. His imagination birthed the steel industry that built cities and spanned continents. Imagination transformed a poor immigrant boy into a titan of wealth. Edison imagined light-filling homes across the world. He pictured inventions long before they existed. His imagination guided thousands of experiments. Assistants saw failure. Edison saw progress toward the picture in his mind. His imagination sustained faith, directed persistence, and produced marvels. Without imagination, his genius would have died in obscurity. With it, he illuminated civilization. But imagination misused enslaves. Most men imagine fear, debt, failure, sickness. They picture disaster daily. They rehearse poverty and thought until life delivers it. The devil delights in such imagination. He whispers dread and men accept it as vision. Their subconscious obeys. Their lives reflect their pictures. Thus imagination can build empires or prisons. It is never idle. Affirm I see my riches in thought. I live them now. My imagination is my empire. Speak these words with emotion. Each time fear pictures poverty, replace it with wealth. Each time dread pictures failure, replace it with victory. Each time doubt pictures ridicule, replace it with respect. The subconscious will obey whichever picture dominates. Choose deliberately. Exercise. Each day spend 15 minutes in silence. Picture your definite aim as complete. See it vividly. Imagine the sum of money in your possession, the freedom it brings, the service rendered. Feel the joy. Smell the surroundings. Hear the words of recognition. Live it in thought until it feels real. The subconscious will accept it and life will obey. The drifter never imagines boldly. He repeats old fears, old habits, old routines. He mocks the dreamer, envies the creator, resents the successful. His imagination is chained to wages. He sees no further than the next week's pay. The devil owns him because he pictures nothing. His mind is blank of vision, full of fear, empty of creation. The master imagines constantly. He builds palaces in thought before stone is laid. He creates fortunes in mind before contracts are signed. He sees opportunity where others see obstacles. His imagination is deliberate, powerful, vivid. He feeds it with desire, strengthens it with faith, directs it with decision, sustains it. With faith, directs it with decision, sustains it with persistence. Imagination is his throne of mastery. Schwab imagined the expansion of steel before Carnegie. His bold vision spoken decisively created United States Steel. His imagination saw billions when others saw risk. Barnes imagined partnership with Edison when others saw impossible. His vision sustained him until it became fact. Each fortune that seemed sudden was long imagined before it was realized. Imagination must be guarded. Idle imagination builds chains. Picturing poverty attracts it. Rehearsing failure creates it. Fearing sickness invites it. Envying others enslaves you further. Guard imagination as sacred workshop. Allow only definite pictures of riches, purpose, faith. Refuse to dwell upon fear. Refuse to picture defeat. Refuse to imagine anything you do not wish to create. Affirm again, I see only what I desire. I picture riches. I imagine victory. I create in thought and life obeys. Write these words. Speak them morning and night. Picture vividly your aim. Refuse to let fear intrude. Each repetition strengthens imagination's power. Soon you will live the life you have pictured. For the law obeys imagination. Infinite intelligence communicates through imagination. Flashes, hunches, sudden ideas. These are whispers from higher source. The man who trains imagination recognizes them. He acts upon them. They become fortunes. The drifter ignores them. He doubts, delays, mocks. His imagination is dull, untrained, closed. He perishes in blindness, while the man of imagination prospers in vision. Therefore, I charge you, awaken imagination. Use it daily. Picture boldly. Guard it carefully. Direct it deliberately. Feed it with desire. Sustain it with faith. Guide it with decision. Fuel it with persistence. Imagination is the workshop where riches are first created. Fail to use it and you remain servant. Use it boldly and you become master. No man rises alone. The idea that one self-made man conquers the world by his solitary effort is a pleasing story for the crowd. But it is false. Every empire, every fortune, every triumph was the fruit of many minds united in harmony. I call this the mastermind principle. When two or more minds join in a spirit of definiteness and faith, a third greater power is born. The mastermind is invisible but real. It is the multiplying of thought, courage, imagination, and will. One man alone grows weary, doubtful, timid. Surrounded by others who share his aim, his faith grows, his courage strengthens, his ideas multiply. He draws upon their experience, their energy, their persistence. The mastermind lifts him higher than he could climb alone. Andrew Carnegie confessed that his fortune was not his genius alone, but the product of his mastermind group. He surrounded himself with men of knowledge greater than his own. Financiers, engineers, organizers. Together, they formed a force no rival could defeat. Carnegie admitted that if stripped of everything but his mastermind alliance, he could rebuild his empire swiftly. Edison's laboratory was not a solitary workshop, but a hive of inventive minds. He attracted assistants, thinkers, engineers who believed in his vision. Their minds blended with his to create a flow of invention unmatched. The world credits Edison, but behind him stood a mastermind that multiplied his genius. Without it, his ideas might have perished in obscurity. Henry Ford surrounded himself with mechanical experts, managers, organizers. He was not master of all knowledge, but he was master at attracting men who were. His mastermind multiplied his vision into factories, assembly lines, and empires. Alone, he would have failed. With his mastermind, he conquered industry. The law works for all who obey it. The drifter avoids the mastermind. He resents others, fears comparison, envies success. He isolates himself or joins with complainers, doubters, and cynics. Such company poisons faith, kills imagination, weakens persistence. The devil delights, for he owns the man surrounded by drifters. No mastermind forms in discord. Only failure multiplies. Harmony is the requirement of power. The mastermind is not mere association. Men may gather in numbers yet accomplish nothing if envy, discord, or fear prevail. True mastermind requires harmony, definiteness, and faith. Discord destroys, jealousy poisons, doubt weakens. But where men unite in common purpose with trust and belief, the mastermind power flows freely, and fortune obeys. Affirm, I attract men of vision and power. Together we rise. Together we command riches. Speak it daily. The subconscious will respond, drawing allies into your life. You will meet those who believe, those who dare, those who persist. You will recognize them by their definiteness. Unite with them, and together you will achieve what none could alone. Exercise. List the qualities you lack. Perhaps you lack financial skill, technical knowledge, organizing ability. Seek allies who possess these. Offer your own strength in return. Form alliance on foundation of service, not selfishness. Meet regularly. Share openly. Encourage one another. Hold each other to persistence. This is the building of a mastermind. Carnegie's empire proves this law. He owned little technical knowledge, but he united engineers who had it. He owned no deep financial expertise, but he drew financiers who mastered it. He blended them into one harmonious force. His mastermind turned ideas into steel, steel into bridges, bridges into empire. Alone he could not. With mastermind he commanded. The devil confessed that once he surrounds a man with doubters and drifters, his work is done. Their words whisper discouragement daily. Their fear infects. Their complaints weaken resolve. Soon the man drifts with them, bound by invisible chains. The mastermind principle is the antidote. Surround yourself with the definite and the devil loses power. Think of Lincoln's cabinet. Rivals and critics filled it. Yet he forged harmony among them toward a greater purpose. Their blended minds guided the nation through peril. The mastermind sustained him when solitude might have broken him. Without it, his burden would have been too great. With it, he preserved the union. Affirm again, I unite only with men of faith. I reject drifters. I attract allies of courage. Together we multiply strength. Together we rise beyond chains. Speak this until belief attracts the right companions. Act upon it by severing ties with complainers, cynics, doubters. Better alone with faith than surrounded by poison. Soon faith will draw allies worthy of you. The mastermind multiplies not only knowledge, but courage. One man alone may falter in fear. Surrounded by allies who believe, he grows bold. Their faith is who believe, he grows bold. Their faith becomes his. His courage becomes theirs. And together they act where alone they would hesitate. The devil cannot defeat a union of faith, for his weapon is fear, and faith in harmony expels it. Rockefeller drew to himself a circle of organizers, lawyers, financiers, each adding strength. His mastermind guided Standard Oil to power unmatched. Critics called him ruthless, but the truth is simpler. He obeyed the law of the mastermind. He united minds harmoniously toward definite purpose, and fortune obeyed as servant. Any man may do the same. The drifter scoffs at this law. He says, I will succeed alone. He fears sharing credit, distrusts others, resents guidance. He remains weak, for no man holds all knowledge. His pride is his chain. His solitude is his slavery. The devil laughs, for he owns the man who refuses the mastermind. Pride isolates. Harmony multiplies. Therefore, I charge you, seek your mastermind. Look for men of faith, definiteness, persistence. Offer service, not demand. Build harmony deliberately. Meet often. Plan clearly. Act boldly. Encourage each other in defeat. Remind each other of faith. Hold each other to persistence. In this alliance, a power greater than any individual is born. Affirm once more, I attract men of vision and power. Together we rise. Together we command riches. Write it. Speak it. Believe it. Begin now to look for your allies. They may be near already, awaiting your call. Unite with them. The law cannot fail. The mastermind multiplies strength, creates fortunes, sustains empires. Obey it and you will rise. The subconscious mind is the silent servant of man, tireless, obedient, and exact. It never rests, never judges, never questions. It creates in reality whatever is impressed upon it with repetition and emotion. Whether fear or faith, riches or poverty, courage or timidity, the subconscious accepts it and acts. It is the gateway to infinite intelligence, the bridge between thought and power. Most men neglect this servant. They allow fear, doubt, and drifting thoughts to dominate. The subconscious obeys those impressions faithfully, bringing failure, poverty, and chains. They curse fate, blame luck, complain of injustice, never realizing they themselves commanded their subconscious to produce misery. The devil delights, for he whispers fear, and their subconscious delivers it as fact. The wise man guards his subconscious. He plants only definite desire spoken with faith, pictured vividly, repeated daily. He knows that every thought repeated becomes habit. Every affirmation accepted becomes law. He speaks riches, pictures freedom, affirms faith, and acts. His subconscious, so commanded, works day and night, directing ideas, attracting allies, arranging circumstances until fortune appears. Infinite intelligence communicates through the subconscious. Flashes of inspiration, sudden hunches, dreams, intuitions, these are its language. The man who trains his subconscious to believe in his definite aim becomes receiver of guidance. The drifter whose subconscious is filled with fear hears nothing. Inspiration is wasted upon him, for doubt blocks the signal. Faith opens the channel. Edison trusted flashes of inspiration that came through imagination and subconscious. He acted upon them and inventions flowed. Rockefeller obeyed hunches to expand pipelines and dominate oil. Carnegie trusted impulses to integrate steel. Their subconscious minds, fed with desire and faith, drew wisdom from infinite intelligence. Their fortunes seemed miraculous. In truth, they obeyed law. Autosuggestion is the tool to command the subconscious. By repeating words with emotion, you engrave belief upon it. By picturing vividly, you convince it. By affirming daily, you program it. The subconscious accepts no argument, it accepts impression. Speak often enough, and with belief, and it will act as though it were fact. Life itself will conform to that command. Affirm, my subconscious is faithful servant. I feed it desire, faith, definitesse. It creates riches without delay. Speak it morning and night. Write it, repeat it. Each time fear rises, counter with this affirmation. Each time doubt whispers, declare it. Soon, your subconscious will accept it, and riches will begin to move toward you. Exercise. Before sleep, repeat your definite chief aim aloud. Picture it vividly as though complete. Feel the possession. Sleep with that picture. During the night, your subconscious will work upon it, sending ideas, guidance, and courage. Repeat again upon waking, planting the seed for the day. This daily ritual transforms drifting thought into definite command. The subconscious cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood. It accepts whatever is impressed upon it. This is power and danger. If you feed it fear, it will create fear. If you feed it faith, it will create faith. You must guard it as fortress, refusing entry to negative words, rejecting doubt, denying excuses. Speak only what you wish created. The drifter speaks poverty, sickness, and fear daily. His subconscious obeys. He reaps chains and wonders why he does not realize he commanded it. The master speaks riches, health, courage, faith. His subconscious obeys. He reaps freedom. The law does not fail. It answers to what is impressed. Guard your speech for words or commands to the subconscious. Lincoln trusted his subconscious guidance. In moments of despair, flashes came. Decisions to act, words to speak, courage to hold. His subconscious, filled with faith and union, drew wisdom beyond his own. He preserved a nation because he obeyed the unseen guidance. Faith had impressed itself so deeply that infinite intelligence spoke through him. Affirm again, my subconscious is faithful servant. I command it with riches, with courage, with faith. It obeys instantly. Speak until belief is natural. Act as though it were fact. The subconscious will respond by aligning circumstance, drawing opportunity, and sustaining persistence. It is invisible ally, tireless worker, perfect servant, but you must be master. The devil confessed, I own men by filling their subconscious with fear and excuses. He is powerless against the man who feeds faith daily. He can whisper, but the subconscious, already saturated with belief, rejects him. Do you see the battlefield is not outside but within? Command your subconscious and the devil is defeated. Neglect it and he owns you. Therefore I charge you. Command your subconscious. Write your chief aim. Repeat it aloud twice daily. Picture it vividly. Speak affirmations until belief is certain. Refuse to allow fear to enter. Correct drifting thoughts instantly. Guard speech carefully. Feed only faith. Do this daily and your subconscious will create riches swiftly. For infinite intelligence answers definitesse. Affirm once more. Infinite intelligence answers definitesse. Affirm once more. My subconscious creates only what I command. I command riches. I command freedom. I command faith. It obeys instantly. These words spoken daily with emotion engrave themselves upon your inner self. Soon life itself bends to your will. Fortune appears suddenly as if by miracle, though it is law, obeyed faithfully by your subconscious. Men believe fortune must crawl slowly, arriving after decades of toil. They say riches are gradual, that success is distant. Yet history shows otherwise. Fortunes appear in a night. Destinies change in a moment. Lives cross from poverty to wealth in the space of one decision, one alliance, one opportunity. The world calls it luck. I call it law fulfilled. Years of desire, faith, decision, persistence, imagination, alliance, and subconscious preparation culminates suddenly. Like water behind a dam, the power builds quietly. At last, one act, one word, one thought bursts the wall. Overnight, the torrent rushes forth, and the world calls it miracle. Yet it is no miracle. It is the inevitable harvest of law long obeyed. Barnes dreamed of partnership with Edison. For years, he labored obscurely. Then one day, Edison offered the chance to sell a dictating machine. Barnes seized it, sold it, triumphed. Overnight, he became partner. The crowd saw fortune appear in an instant. But that instant was the fruit of years of burning desire, faith, persistence, and imagination. The transformation was sudden but not accidental. Charles Schwab spoke boldly at Carnegie's dinner. In one evening, his words gave birth to United States Steel. Billions appeared in an instant. The crowd marveled at sudden riches. Yet Schwab had prepared long in imagination, courage, and definitesse. The speech was the trigger, but the law had been ready. Fortune appeared overnight for decision, and faith ignited the harvest. Henry Ford's assembly line seemed to transform industry instantly. Critics saw a miracle, but Ford had pictured it vividly, believed in it wholly, pursued it persistently. The breakthrough appeared sudden, yet it was the fruit of years of faith and imagination. Overnight success is always years in the making, but the moment of transformation is indeed sudden. The law of riches works in silence until belief is complete, desire is burning, decision is final, persistence is proven, imagination is vivid, allies are united, subconscious is saturated. Then in a single instant opportunity arises. Those who are ready seize it and rise overnight. Those who are drifting let it pass and remain slaves. The devil owns 98% because they never prepare. They drift, excuse fear, quit, mock imagination, neglect the subconscious. Opportunity comes, but they are blind. They do not recognize it, or they hesitate, or they doubt. It passes, never to return. They say others are lucky. In truth, they themselves refuse to obey law. Freedom, riches, mastery, these belong to the 2% who obey law faithfully. They desire with burning intensity. They believe without doubt. They decide swiftly, persist relentlessly, imagine vividly, unite wisely, command the subconscious daily. Then one day, suddenly, fortune appears. Their lives are transformed overnight. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes reality today. Affirm, I am ready now. My thought commands. My faith acts. My riches appear. I am master. Speak it until you believe it. Repeat until your subconscious obeys. Picture it until you feel it real. Act upon it until fortune appears. For overnight transformation comes not to the drifter, but to the prepared. Be ready, and the moment will come. Lincoln's election to the presidency seemed sudden after years of obscurity and defeat. Overnight, he became leader of a nation. Yet his years of persistence, faith, and purpose had prepared him. Rockefeller's dominance of oil seemed instant. Yet his years of organization and imagination had been building. The sudden transformation is the blossom. Preparation is the root. The world sees only the blossom. They envy, they complain, they call it unfair. They do not see the root of desire, faith, persistence, imagination, alliance, subconscious command. They drift, excusing themselves, and perish. But you, if you prepare, will be among the 2%. When the moment comes, you will seize it. Overnight, you will be transformed. Affirm again, I am ready now. My riches appear. My destiny obeys. I am master. These are not empty words. They are command to the subconscious, law to the universe. Decree to your destiny. Speak them with conviction. Repeat until belief is absolute. Act daily in preparation. Then when the moment comes, fortune will answer suddenly. Therefore, I charge you, obey the law fully, desire burning, faith unwavering, decision firm, persistence relentless. Imagination vivid, alliance harmonious, subconscious commanded. Do this, and the day will come when opportunity appears. In that instant, your life will change. The crowd will call it luck. You will know it as law. Write your definite chief aim. Speak it twice daily. Imagine it vividly. Believe it wholly. Decide upon it firmly. Persist in it daily. Unite with allies. Command your subconscious. This is preparation. Then await not idly but actively. Live ready when opportunity arrives, and you will seize it overnight. Your destiny will be transformed. Affirm once more, I am ready. My thought commands. My faith acts. My riches appear. I am master. This is the creed of the 2%. Speak it until it becomes your nature. Live it until it becomes your life. Fortune will obey. The law cannot fail. Overnight success will appear. For you will have prepared. The devil owns the 98%. They drift, excuse, fear, quit, and perish. But the 2% obey law, and fortune obeys them. Decide now to be among them. The choice is yours. Say it. The law is mine. My destiny is mine. My fortune is mine. I am master. Repeat until your soul believes. Act until your life proves it. This is the sudden transformation. One day slave, the next master, one day bound, the next free, one day obscure, the next rich. The world calls it miracle. It is law. You were born not to drift, but to command. The power is within you now. Awaken it. Obey the law. Become the master. Do it and life will never be the master. Do it and life will never be the